Hello and welcome to the Hope25 podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Calder.
And hi, I'm Christy Kappa.
Christy, we launched this thing called Hope25. We're going to go a little bit more into it later on. But Christy, who are you?
That's a really good philosophical question, Michael. How deep an answer are you looking for here? Because I'm a theologian, I can go there. Okay. I'm Christy, as you know. I'm a theologian. I work at Wollaston Theological College, where I'm the academic dean, and I teach in systematic theology and missiology. I'm the oldest of 4 daughters. We have lots and lots of girls in our family. So that's kind of a little bit of me. And I live in Perth. So I'm currently looking out and I can see lots of trees. The ocean is not far away. It's a beautiful place to be. Who are you, Michael?
Well, my name's Michael. I'm a priest in the Diocese of Brisbane. I work at a church called St John's Wishart, and my wife and I have been there for about a year now, so we're, easing into it. My wife is Rachel. We've been married for a couple of years now, and we have our first kid, which we're really excited about. And yeah,
that is pretty exciting. And Wishart is a really awesome name as well, I think.
It is.
Will you name the baby Wishart?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
That's a hard thing.
There have been some questions about will we call it John after St John's. But
maybe we don't need to be quite that obsessed with the church that you're at now with the baby.
No.
That's probably healthy.
Yeah. We maintain healthy boundaries,
It's a good thing to do.
That's
a very good thing
podcast
to
topic
do.
in and of itself.
I think it is. But for now, I want to talk about Hope25 because it's really exciting. Hope25 has a bit of an awesome timeline to it. So we're launching at this Pentecost. We finish next year at Pentecost. With Easter being early this year and late next year, it's just over a year's time that we've got for Hope25. Now, hopefully people saw the video yesterday, launched at their church and heard about Hope25. But if you didn't, what is it? Might
Christy,
be a good
tell
question.
us. Please tell us.
You
what
want me to tell you?
Hope25?
Okay.
Yeah, please do so.
Hope25 is a national evangelism strategy for the Anglican Church of Australia. So it came about, I suppose, about 12 months ago. The Standing Committee of General Synod. So General Synod is where all of the Anglican dioceses come together with different representatives to think about the church and make decisions. And then the Standing Committee is the group that meets between the General Synods every 3 years. And they said, wouldn't it be great to have a national evangelism strategy where all the Anglican churches in Australia were working together to talk to people about who Jesus is? And I'm on the church's Mission and Ministry Commission. So they asked us, probably sensibly, given the title of our commission, to think about what a national evangelism strategy for 2025 might look like. So we started thinking about that and we started praying about it and we started thinking, what could this look like? And how do we get these amazing churches of diverse Anglicans to work together to talk about who Jesus is? So thinking about what that means, we were thinking about hope, and we were thinking about the hope that we have in Jesus. We were thinking about our world that really needs hope with all of the things that go on around our world, all of the wars, all of the uncertainties around climate change and the economy and all of those things. Sometimes hope seems just a bit far away. So we want to talk about hope in an uncertain world for Hope25. So we had a number of meetings. We had, because all of these things need meetings, right? You have to meet together.
Of course.
Yeah, we can't be a church if we don't have
thing
meetings.
needs a council.
Absolutely. How many Anglicans does it take to do a mission project like this? Every single one. So we started thinking about this, and in February this year was when I met you, actually, Michael, because we had a national evangelism workshop in Melbourne at Trinity College, which was brilliant. We had nearly every diocese there, and you came along. How did you end up in Melbourne?
Well, it's a very good question. I was asked fairly last minute, actually, because the original Brisbane person who was selected was unable to make it. So I'm the second stringer.
You were the ring-in.
I was the ring-in.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I found out about it fairly last minute, but then thought, hey, this seems really cool. Hope seems pretty awesome, and a national strategy of proclamation sounds pretty exciting and good to be involved in. So in February, found myself down in Melbourne with awesome Anglicans from around Australia, pretty much every diocese represented, which was really exciting. Met different people from different backgrounds, and we really discussed what Hope25 could look like. We did this through different various teams and different various meetings. So some people were considering how could we run different events to be able to share hope. Some people were thinking about how do we resource our churches to be able to be involved. Some people were thinking about how do we communicate hope to the world, and how do we communicate this project to our parishes. But it was really exciting to see a real sense of unity from a real diverse background of people. In chatting to my bishop and other people, this is really quite unique in our church at the moment.
Someone said to me that it's the first time since the mid to late 90s that a group like that have got together. And I was thinking about, the 90s when I was at school and thinking that feels like a long time ago to me.
It does feel like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, people from different backgrounds who disagree on quite a number of issues, but we can all agree on the fact that Jesus is the one who brings the hope that this world needs. So that was really exciting to be able to be there.
Yeah, one of my favourite things from that workshop was right at the end as everyone was praying for each other and just seeing all these people from different dioceses around the country just with their arms around each other, laying hands on each other and praying for this going forward and praying for our diocese and our churches and for each other.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool picture. It was also amazing that on such a hot day, people actually wanted to touch each other, because normally you think of Melbourne like being nice and cool, especially you coming from Brisbane, I'm coming from Perth. I'm thinking, this is great. Maybe I'll actually, for the first time in months, be able to wear like a jumper or something, and that was not the case. Yeah, the fact that people got close enough to each other in that weather rather than standing right under the air conditioner. Yeah,
but the fellowship was just as warm as the weather.
Oh, that's really nice. So after that, we kept working, and the little groups that we started at the workshop kept in touch some of the time, which was great to see. Different groups working together, and they would be emailing us in the commission different things that they've done, and it was great to see all of these things happening. So we then we had to talk to the bishops after that. They're a little bit intimidating. There were a lot of people wearing purple shirts. So we went to Bendigo and we told them about Hope25, and they'd already heard about it, of course, from all of the people that they'd sent to the workshop who'd come back and excitedly told them around it. So it was not actually that hard a sell, I think, in the end, to talk to the bishops about it. And they were really excited about the idea of this. So then we started making a video for the launch. If you didn't see the launch video yesterday, the church that I go to, we don't have a screen in our church. So if you are like us and screenless in your church, you may have been able to watch it on phones or in your hall afterwards. But if you weren't, if you head to our website, which is hope25.com.au, you will be able to find our information there, and you'll be able to have a look at that website and all of the resources, as well as seeing the launch video if you would like to have a little watch of it. It just tells you a little bit about what we're doing and what we're going to provide. Because when we think about the idea of like a national evangelism strategy or a period of proclamation, it can sound a bit intimidating. You can be like, I'm not quite sure where this is going, what resources to use. Yeah. And that's exactly what the website's for.
Yeah, so Christy, it can be tempting to think about this and just think, oh gosh, this is more work straight after Easter, which is already a busy time. But that's not what's going to be happening, hopefully.
Hopefully. There's a lot of hope in Hope25.
Yes.
And there's a lot of hopefullys around it. But look, initially we were thinking, wouldn't it be great if there was a weekend, like the same weekend that every Anglican church in Australia did something? And we thought, great, Easter. Easter is a great time to do that. And then someone said, yeah, but so many people go camping at Easter. And I'm like, that is true. Like half the Australian population seems to like pick up and go camping and be somewhere else, including people in our churches, you know. So we have lots of people visiting churches on those Sundays, which is great, but maybe not the best time. And then we thought, well, what if we do it in Pentecost in 2025? And again, for many of the states, that's actually the Queen's birthday weekend. So again, camping.
Camping.
Camping, it's the thing to do. So trying to work out exactly when was a good time was difficult. So we thought, what about if between Easter and Pentecost in 2025, we asked people to do one thing to talk to their community about Jesus? And that one thing is going to look different in every different church. So we have resources on the website, which you heard about at the launch, so that you can think about what might work for you. But for right now, we're in a period of preparing for that, a period of getting ready for all of those things and thinking about what it might look like. So, Michael, what are some things that churches might do over the next few months to prepare themselves for a season of maybe more intense preparation in Lent next year? What are some things that might be useful to think about, do you think?
Things that might be helpful to think about would be maybe getting a group of people together in your church who are really excited about reaching the community. You could start brainstorming some different ideas as to what potentially you could do in the season of proclamation next year, from Easter to Pentecost. And this could be as simple as a community lunch. It could be running a course. It could be a barbecue. It could be launching a social group where people come and sew and do craft together, and you're able to share hope through there. All kinds of creative ways to be able to share hope. People do sometimes get scared about evangelism. People get scared about sharing Jesus. But we want to make it as easy as possible for parishes and people to talk to their community about their mate Jesus, which is really exciting. So on the website on hope25.com.au, there are multiple different resources and ideas for people to be able to take hold of and have a look at, discern, pray about, and think about whether it will actually be useful for their parish. A parish the size of 500 people will do something completely different to a parish the size of 5 people. But whatever is done is not wasted in God's economy. So keep on having a look at the website at hope25.com.au as different resources and different ideas pop up. Another resource is this podcast.
I hope that it'll be a useful resource. I know one of the things that I often find with mission and evangelism is within our church, there's so many diverse ways that groups do that. And so for some groups, it's like, let's go out and let's street preach. And other people are like, I do not want to go anywhere near that. And that's so fine, because God has made all of us differently, and God has made every person in our community different as well. I used to work in university ministry, and sometimes people would say, why are there so many Christian ministries on campus? And we actually thought it was a really good thing, because different groups would reach different kinds of people. There are some people who are never going to join, a really Pentecostal kind of group. And there are other people who are really never going to join the let's sit down and spend all day reading the Bible group. So some sort of mix in between is really great. Some churches are going to share our faith through Eucharistic celebrations, through talking about food, through talking about the sacraments, and that's a huge blessing. We're going to have some people on the podcast talking about how you can share our faith through that way and tell people about who God is as they experience those things. We're going to have people from all over the church spectrum. So if you are hearing this going, oh, I'm just not sure this is for me, it is for you, because sharing Jesus and who Jesus is can be done in so many different ways. And we want to collaborate and work with you to work out what the best way is for your church community. But then I think, particularly in this period right now, as we're heading out from Pentecost 2024, it's a good time to think about our churches and where God is leading us. I know that there are some churches that have a lot of young people. There are some churches that don't have any young people. So having a look at the community around us and who we are and who God is calling us to be could be a really useful thing. And that could be as simple as going, hey, how do we welcome people at our church? When a visitor comes, what do we do? Do we have any plan, or who tends to be the person who talks to them, and how does that happen? And kind of doing a bit of an audit on maybe what we're already doing so we can work out what to do next.
Christy, it's almost as if we're a body with different parts, with different gifts.
Like, that rings a bell from somewhere.
I think so, yeah.
I feel like I've read that somewhere before.
So a church of mostly older people may not be able to do the same thing as a church with younger people, but own it. Go with it. Don't try and be a parish that you're not. Use what God has given you. Use what has been entrusted to you to be able to share the hope of Jesus to this world.
Yeah. So over the next little while, we're going to be in a season of preparation. So we're kind of talking about different seasons. And so from now until maybe Lent next year, we're doing training. We're thinking about what's going on. We're doing those sort of, where is our church at and what might that look like? Different dioceses are going to be doing things as a whole. I know, Michael, you're on a team for your diocese.
Yep, we're meeting pretty soon, which is very exciting. People from different parishes getting together and thinking about how we can spruik Hope25 to our different parishes. That's
pretty cool. Because, I mean, one of the key things is that people know what's going on, and they know what it could look like in their place, and that, you know, this is not something from the national church being forced down onto people. This is something that I think we have an opportunity to decide to partake in and decide what it's going to look like in our context. Yeah. So during this particular kind of time, there's going to be training run probably by different dioceses, as well as you might run some training in your church. Some churches might choose to go through some of the different courses that you'll find on the website and go, this is kind of what it looks like. Maybe this course could work, maybe it couldn't. Because sometimes when we do some of those courses, it's when we go, oh yeah, this would work. It's really hard to invite people to something that we haven't been through ourselves. You might want to have a few different events to talk about what events you might have. And gather a team together in your church. You might want to say to your minister, I want to be part of that team. I want to join that group. And then when we enter Lent next year, what do you reckon is going to happen in Lent, Michael?
Lent next year is going to be a season of more intense preparation, and also more potentially spiritual preparation as well, as we seek to intentionally pray for our churches and pray for Hope25. Throughout Lent, there's going to be a Lenten study to be able to use. There's going to be some resources for small groups to be able to use to really help us prepare for Hope25. Because, of course, nothing can happen without actually God being involved. So prayer is so fundamental to Hope25. And so Lent in 25 is going to be that season of preparation for hope.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm so glad you mentioned prayer, because, of course, none of this happens without all of us joining together in prayer and praying for each other and praying for our communities and praying for what God might do and for God's guidance in that. So it's something that has to really undergird the whole of this thing. But yeah, certainly Lent is going to be a great time of really seeing different Anglican groups coming together, preparing for Easter, as we always do, but also thinking about preparing for this season and what hope might look like. Yeah. And then we get to a season of sharing the hope that we have in Jesus.
So from Easter to Pentecost in 25, we are hoping and praying that every parish and commission around Australia in Anglican churches will do one thing of proclamation, one thing of intentional evangelism and outreach into their community to share the hope of Jesus. Just think about that. Every parish around Australia doing one thing, that's a great multiplying effect around Australia. So you might think that your contribution in your parish, which you might do, seems small, but it's not small. It's so significant. The cumulative effect of it all is going to be amazing, and I'm excited for it right now.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I really hope that during that time on this podcast, we can talk to different groups and be like, what have you guys been doing? You did something last week. What was it? Tell us about it. And hearing some of those stories. Because, sharing the hope that we have in Jesus, it doesn't have to be hard. I remember being on a short-term mission trip one time when I was a young adult and talking to one of my non-Christian friends on the phone. And she was like, I don't know why you're so worried about this. You're just telling people about what you believe. Like, why are you so nervous to talk to people? And I was like, okay, sure.
It's true. At St. John's, we've been going through Acts 1 to 9 in the first kind of part of the year. And we've been thinking about what it means to be a witness and a witness to the hope. And if you think about it, when you're called up to be a witness in court, you're not allowed to lie. That's called perjury, so don't do that.
Avoid that.
Avoid that at all costs. You don't have to make stuff up. You don't have to use fancy language because that just clouds the evidence. You just tell people what you know. And that's what sharing hope is about. You just tell people what you know. Yeah.
I love that. I think sometimes when we think about evangelism, and I know I certainly feel like this, I feel like, am I forcing someone into something? Like, does someone really not want to hear this? Some people might not want to hear what's going on. Some people might have had really bad experiences with religion at different points. And so there are different ways that we talk to people. And we don't want to necessarily force ideas on other people. We want to share ideas and share our faith and invite them to participate. We don't want to be forceful about that.
No.
And I think that's a really, that's something that can make this whole proclamation less scary, thinking about it in a witnessing way of just telling people what we've seen and heard and experienced.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we want to invite you to get involved in Hope25. There are different ways you can do that. If you head to the website, hope25.com.au, you will find, you will find a sign up now section where you can put in your email address. And what will happen with that is that you will then get emails from the Hope25 team, which will tell you how you might prepare your church to be involved. So there's going to be some monthly emails that guide you through a process of, okay, what is this Hope25, all the way to this is the thing that we've done and we're excited about it. So it's going to talk about how you can get your parish or community involved in those things. I'm really excited about that. The podcast is going to follow some of those emails a little bit so that people are aware, and we can give you more resources than the emails. We can talk about what's going on in the emails, what we've seen, and then meet with different guests and hear about some resources that they have that might be really useful. So don't forget to sign up now, because the podcast, the emails, the website, everything goes hand in hand to try and support and resource you and your community as we move forward and take this leap of faith.
Yeah, so next step, go to hope25.com.au, fill out the form. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get into contact. If you have any questions about Hope25, you can ask them there. Somebody, and a human will be in contact, not an AI bot will be in contact. A human will be in contact and let you know what's going on with Hope25.
So thanks for listening to our first podcast. We're looking forward to coming back fortnightly and sharing with you more resources and ideas for what might happen between Easter Day and Pentecost Sunday in 2025.
Cool. See you later. Thanks, Christy.
Bye.